fortunate. I'm no fortunate. Isn't these guys great? Give these guys a hand. Oh man, they're all so cute. Hey, I'm no fortunate. I'm no fortunate son.
Hey,
Hello? Hey, music man, look at you dancing.
well,
You-
rocking. That group rocks.
Well, we had to do something different tonight, right? Because we opened
Absolutely
the same way.
rocks.
You know what? You are sitting below the line.
There you go.
There you go.
I had to I was dancing. I had to move the chair out of the way. Welcome, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to the Business Powwow with Darren and the Music Man. We're sort of a little off script tonight. We have a little teaser for those of you that may be interested but haven't decided that you would like to see the show that we're doing on July 25th. What are you giving me your finger?
I'm having camera issues like you're having camera issues.
All right, get close. Okay, here we go. We're the same height now, right on screen.
Oh, we're the same height. There we go.
There
Just
we go.
just
We're
like
good.
when we're in the studio.
Exactly.
Make sure we level out, right?
Any studio.
Yeah.
But the show is going to rock. We have in here the John Fegerty tribute band with they play all the music to Creedence Clearwater. I think that song that they just did was at one of my concerts, as a matter of fact, the one we did in Belmore. So there's a possibility. I'm going to go find that out. But how was your week this week? I shouldn't ask. I mean, I can imagine.
It was, you know what? I thought I was better prepared for this tax deadline than I was. A lot of last minute stuff popping up. I literally had somebody call me yesterday and say, I got to file my returns. I said, I tried to contact you a number of times since the beginning of the year. And they're calling me yesterday going, I got my mother and my girlfriend, I got to file returns for. Can you get it done? I just laughed. Because everybody thinks that it takes 2 seconds to get this stuff done. It doesn't. There's a lot of work.
Was your client laughing too?
Well, yeah, after I, called him a numbnuts and,
Is
he
that
was
how
laughing
you said
at
it?
Yeah, I called him numbnuts.
You didn't give it a adjective in front of it?
No, yeah, I did, but I'm not going to go there.
A special kind of number.
But we're good. We're good. He's been a client for a long time, so we're good.
All right, so that's cool.
We filed extensions and we're going to do everything the right way. And we're not.
So you got extension. So he's good. Just
Yeah, but it was
penalties,
a lot
that's
of
all
last
he
minute
has.
stuff. I mean, I literally finished a little after. It was like 5:30 tonight.
All
I
right,
got
so
everything done so I could be here.
well, I'm glad that you are. We had a breakdown today. If you noticed, the Microsoft went down for many hours today.
Did it really? I had no idea.
Yep.
I had no idea.
And it's all over the internet. A lot of people didn't have any problem. Like I called Renee and hers was working fine, but 2 days over from her, it was down.
Really?
So that, yeah, but it's all back. It's running
was
now.
down or what?
Sorry,
With the email that was down or what?
the site went. I mean, just the whole service was down.
Really?
You would click on it and go right off.
Ah, so how was your week?
Taking care of the show.
I know this is an exciting show for you because,
First time, very excited.
July 25th is the big show, right?
Right, and I couldn't have asked for a better group of musicians, but just really good people to do this show as especially as the first one. It's for me, it's very special, and
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I'm not going to cry or anything,
No,
but
don't start crying.
what I am going to do is I'm going to
why don't we
introduce
do
the
this?
group.
While you stop blubbering over yourself. Why don't we invite the band in?
Should I do that?
Yeah,
Ladies and gentlemen, please, we're bringing to the stage the one and only John Fogerty, Prophet. What's the name of the group? Project, doing the music of CCR. Give it up, guys. Why am I the only one clapping? I'm clapping for myself.
There we go.
Darren, you're supposed to
There you
applaud.
go.
These are guests.
I'm
Where did
supposed-
the guy with the sunglasses go? Where did he disappear?
Where is he?
Who, Al? He's
He's
his
making
camera's-
potty? Is he making potty?
I don't know. Maybe it's his camera's black, but his camera's on.
And he's been on for a half an hour already, and, you know.
I know.
wait, go on.
Everybody, you know what? I came on at like 25.
He made a hit.
Al and Anthony were
Maybe
already
he
on.
hit the wrong button. He's gonna join later.
Wrong,
There
I'm
he is,
here.
There he is.
Hey,
There he
wrong
is,
button now.
Hello, everybody. Cheers.
Cheers.
Al, the show's over. You missed it. You missed it.
I love that intro. It was a great intro. I love that tune.
Okay. Let me
Yeah.
introduce everybody. The person that is late wearing the baseball cap, his name is Al Madlinger. To the left-hand side, with all the pictures up on the wall, is the top dentist in all of Long Island, the one and only Anthony Polizzi. George Mandan is playing keyboards when he feels like it. Stu is guitar. Stu, wave hello. There you go, buddy. Mike, where's Mike?
That's
Hey,
me.
Mike. Mike, what do you do there?
I'm trying to figure
Oh,
that
you're
out
right. You're the
myself.
only real musician. I forgot. I told him that.
I'm the
And
sax
Jeff
player.
is on bass. Jeff, say hi. Thanks for
Hi.
shaving for us. Appreciate it. And Paul is missing tonight.
Paul is missing.
Paul is missing. So again, I want to say it now, and then I will say it at the end of the show, and I will say it on the 25th. So I really, truly, stay easy, Jeff. Jay, hang in there.
Sorry.
Calm down, calm down. Calm down over there.
I
I
got him
think
nervous.
his beard knocked over his laptop.
I just wanted to really thank you for doing this show. It means a lot to me, and people will only realize afterwards around the country how good your group is. The John Fogerty Project is a phenomenal, phenomenal group. That song that we just played, was that from the show that we did in Belmore?
Yeah, it
Yes.
was.
I will tell everybody that they sang 32 songs that evening without a pause, right? We didn't take
Yes.
a break.
That was a rough night.
3 hour
Right.
marathon.
Just
Wow.
crazy.
True. It was a great
Phenomenal. I don't
concert.
even know how it lasted that long, but the crowd was standing ovation all night. It was just a wonderful, wonderful show.
Yeah. We're gonna have some info on that, Norm, on the 25th when we do our concert. We got some new info on that concert that we're gonna tell you.
So let me ask you
Oh,
guys.
I think I know what it is. Go ahead.
So
I'm not
let
going to
me-
say anything.
Let me ask you guys a question before we get into the current, present, future, whatever. How did you guys get together? And what made you want to do Creedence Clearwater Revival?
Wow. So I think you know what? I'll start this, Tony, and then you could pick up on your cue. So back in I think I don't know 2012, I was in a band called Double Yellow Line. We were a classic rock band doing the bar scene, 4-piece. You know, the usual thing. Pretty much I've been doing all my life. But anyway, it was a slow time for us, and you know we had not many shows at the time and stuff, and the tribute stuff was just about taking off. And the four of us, we were thinking about doing a tribute. I'm like, well, what could we do? I mean, we did the classic rock stuff, so we were doing the Dylan, the Petty, the Young, and some of the CCR stuff. We kind of did that, I guess. We kind of did that well, but so after this little hiatus, my bass player George Ganji, shout out to George Ganji, our old bass player, and Lou Katz, our old drummer. So in the band was me, was Stu Kirshen over there, and Joe and Lou. So Joe kept calling me up. I mean, we'd taken months off, and he's like, "Come on, let's get back together. Let's do a tribute project. So I said, "All right," just for him to stop bothering me. I was like, "All right, let me just check this out and see what's going on." So I did some research, and like all the stuff we do, like, well, the least competition out there for what we want to do is going to be CCR and Fogerty stuff. So I did a little research. I'm like, all right, let's do a CCR tribute then. Let's just put it together. Called everybody up. I said, make sure it's okay with, you know, your wife, your pets, your parents, or whatever it is, because it's going to take a lot more time and commitment than what we were used to with the bar band. but everybody was on board except for the drummer. And we're like, all right, great. Now we got to find a new drummer. So, I mean, I guess might as well because it's a new band now. So let's try and find a drummer. At the same time, Joe, our bass player, calls me up, and he's been holding on to this for a few weeks too because he didn't want to tell me about it. So he calls me up and says, I don't want to tell you about it, but I got it anyway. I saw an ad online. I don't know if it was in Craigslist or whatever, about someone looking for a Fogerty to do a CCR tribute. I'm like, get the hell out of here. And it was true. It was like, what? This is so weird. What's the odds of that? So I said, all right. And so he's like, you better not join the band. I swear to God, you better not join. I'm like, I'm not going to join. But this is our only competition. So let's see what they're about. And I have to go on an audition just to see what was going on and, what we're up against. So anyway, we set it up. We were in communication. I went for the audition, and then Anthony will tell you the rest.
All right, Anthony. So
Anthony, you got to turn off.
yeah, you know what I did? We were getting some back feed there, so I muted everybody just so we can get it. So Anthony, if you can unmute yourself.
We're unmuted.
Okay, so evidently you were new to or came into this picture because they were looking for a drummer. How did you find them?
No, it was actually the other way around. We were looking for a singer. I was in a Creedence Clearwater Revival tribute band called Willie and the Poor Boys that I started, I guess around 2012. With Jeff was in the band. Jeff played bass for us. Mike played sax for us as well. And I just felt that we were in a position at that time where we weren't able to get to that next level. The band was good musically, but we were missing a performance element. So we decided to make a change and look for someone to play the John Fegerty part. It's a little bit unique with Creedence Clearwater Revival because when you think about all the bands out there, the big bands of that era in the 70s, very rarely was the lead guitar player also the lead singer. And that's the way Creedence was. So it was very important for us to find someone who could sing and play the guitar parts at the same time. So we put an ad out, and Al answered the ad, and he came and he auditioned, and we liked what we heard. Him and I met about 2 days later at a diner to discuss going forward with the project. And I asked Al if he wanted to join the band. And he said, well, no, but what I'd like you to do is join my band, because they were in the beginning stages of putting together a Creedence Clearwater Revival bands. That's how this outage of two bands came to be. We had a big to the band, but eventually he was unable to continue. He came with me from Willie and the Poor Boys to play sax. And Al had Stu and Paul already as guitarists kind of earmarked.
So Tony, you're breaking up a little bit. You're freezing up there. You got your connection may be a little bit poor, but from what I'm getting is it's really the two bands kind of merged together. Is it?
Yeah,
Al,
basically that's what happened. I had like three guys. Tony had three guys, basically. It's more to it than that, but that's about what happened. And we just got together and started this. Now with Tony, he was already in a tribute band and he was used to the circuit. He had all the contacts. So if I scored a drummer, I was not only scoring a drummer, but I was scoring a booking agent as well. So, I mean, I had two birds with one stone for me, but the other thing with me is I had to learn all of this music, even though I've played it before in other bar bands. In a tribute band, until you start really researching it, you were never playing it right. But, so it was like, I had to really learn all this stuff. And most of all, I had to learn a vocal. I was never a singer. I'm still not a singer. I just had to learn this, as I went. And Fogerty is just
funny. I was gonna say that you're not a singer.
Thanks, Norm. Of course not. You're supposed to be my booker. You're supposed to be praising. Oh, this guy's amazing.
I'm there, baby. I'm there for you. I'm just giving you, it's family. Nobody is listening in tonight. They're not going to know what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
it's just family. Everybody knows the truth. So that's how it was. I mean, I'm still learning. I think in about another, I don't know, 5 to 10 years, I might get it right.
Right. Well, you know
God
what?
bless.
Practice makes perfect. And if you can do things that you love doing, it's all good. So Stu, let me bounce it off to you. Stu and I know each other, right? We're in a networking group together. Stu, how did you decide you wanted to play in a band?
Well, like the other guys, I've been playing in different kinds of bands all my life. Started off, doing the California kind of rock back in the 70s and 80s. So it was something that I always had a passion for. And I met Al as it was about, I don't know, what was it, maybe 10, 15 years ago at least.
Yeah, a while back, you auditioned for WO Line.
Yeah, and so we worked together on a bunch of projects, and I love playing with Al. We read each other really well. Like, I know where he's going, he knows where I'm going, and we just speak the same language, musically, and they're all good guys. Al's a good guy, and the other guys, and so it's just made a lot of sense for me, and it's been a natural progression being in this band with these guys. They're all great musicians and good human beings.
So you really enjoy it. So how long have you guys been together? I know George is fairly new, right, to the group, but how long has the group been? Has it been 2012 or 2013?
No, the core of this band is going into its third year.
The third year. Okay.
Just the third year. Yeah. And it's it's a little bit different than most of the Creedence bands that you find across the country, which are the typical 4-piece ensemble, the way Creedence played. This is more the way John Fegerty tours now. 3 guitars, keyboards, bass, drums. Occasionally we'll bring it to 9 pieces and bring 2 backup singers. Mike plays sax. So it really gives us the versatility to play the Creedence stuff and the John Fegerty solo stuff as he plays it now.
Shout out to our background singers, Dion and Eleanor. Love you guys.
I've worked with Willie and the Poor Boys. I've worked with this group. Willie and the Poor Boys was fine. This group is great. It's not good. They're great. And if I'm embarrassing you, that's not my intention.
Are you just saying that because you want to sell more tickets?
I'm just telling you the way it is. If you ask me a question, I'm going to give you an answer. So you didn't ask me the question. I just figured I would answer it anyway.
As you always do.
And that's what it is. George, stay with us. Okay. Tell us about yourself.
I'm a professional musician since I guess I was a teenager. I've played with all kinds of artists, many different styles. And I met Tony when we were going to the NAMM show in LA. So we had a good time in LA. And, we were hanging out with all the big name rock and rollers, big name musicians and artists. And, this was never, a thought, and one day Tony reached out to me and said, we're looking for a keyboard player. I said, I'll do it because I understand, what the tribute scene is really something that's taken off, especially out here on Long Island. And I, said, oh, it's a real easy gig, meat and potatoes, keyboards, piano and organ is basically what the gig calls for, not heavy in synth orchestration and stuff like that. So it's, it was a ground ball. So I said, yeah, I'll do it. And I'm really very fortunate to be with a great group of guys. The last time, I work with so many people and you work with all kinds of personalities and whatever, but this is just a great group of guys, just traveling together. We have a great time together. We laugh and we tell jokes and it's just it's like a family situation. So it's a very comfortable situation for me. So, I just love being part of this group.
To pick up on George, it was the scenario with him was like when we lost our first keyboard player. George was seemed. I mean, at least with me and Tony, when we talked about George, we was always seemed to be out of reach. I don't know if you remember Tony, because it was like we were like, I don't know if you spoke to him or I know you knew him, but I kind of I think reached out to him randomly. I think I don't know. I was just buzzing the internet for keyboard players, and he was interested. And Tony was like, "Really? He's interested?" I didn't think he seemed to be out of reach, seemed to be above what we were doing.
Right.
And so it was like, and he was like surprised, like, wow, yeah, get him
Well,
aboard. I'm like,
he's
I
the
gave him the set list. He already knew everything. And he came to the shows and he seemed so enthusiastic. So it was like a home run. It was beautiful.
Well, it seems he's the only one. If you know, in the pre-show we were talking, he's the only one that actually does this for a living, right? Everybody else has jobs.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and and we consider ourselves, musicians second. I mean, we enjoy doing this. We don't do it for the money. We all have paying jobs. We do it because we love it. And when I met George originally, some of the names he's played with would blow your mind. And this is a guy who's capable of playing Emerson, Lake and Palmer type of keyboards. Certainly, this band doesn't call for that.
Right.
And I never thought that he would be interested in joining us. Although in the back of my mind, I have to say, we did hit it off the first time we met in Los Angeles. He just took me. I took him as a very genuine guy, and we're just happy that he joined.
Tony, I forgot to ask you, what do you do in your real life?
I'm a periodontist. I practice in Huntington.
Oh, in Huntington? And
Didn't
how
you
long
say
have
that?
you?
Didn't you say that in the beginning of the show?
No, I didn't ask him in the beginning of the show. It was in the back end.
Oh, okay.
Pay
Yeah.
attention.
I've been practicing in Huntington now, going on 28 years.
How do people get in touch with you if they want to have a tooth pulled or something?
They have to have a toothache first.
Dr. Anthony Palomini, 631-424-1234.
Right.
Cool. And now what
As
do
a
you do?
fellow musician and a patient, there's no better. I just want to put that out there.
What does he write the checks?
Well, sort of.
What do you do, Al? What's
I
your
am a
profession?
photographer. I do volume photography. That's my bread and butter.
What is volume photography?
Volume photography is with schools and sports and dance and anything where a lot of people need to take their photo in a short period of time. So that's basically it. So everything that's not actually happening right now is what I do.
And how do people reach you?
Well, it's Pixels Photography and Digital Imaging.
As
That's our
in
company.
PIXELS?
You got it.
Gotcha. And George, do you hire yourself out for other bands as well when you're not working?
Yeah, all the
Okay.
time.
And how do they reach you?
They call me on my cell and or they
Are we
face.
gonna guess? Are we gonna guess that number?
I'll give it to you. It's
Okay.
718-715-9061.
Terrific. Great. Jeff, you're up.
Oh, I'm going to take Jeff off mute because he was our noise. I got him down to our noise there before.
Oh, we tracked them down, huh?
I muted him.
Hi, Jeff.
Funny,
There you
Yeah,
go.
no, I
He's
had
the
a
noise-
fan in the
he's the
background.
noise in our
When I saw
band,
that you
too.
guys, I saw that you muted me. I turned the fan off.
Oh, is that what it was? Because it sounded like wind. I'm sitting
Yeah,
there trying to
yeah,
figure
so-
out who's sitting
There
outside.
you go. All right, I know. I'm waiting for the jokes from everybody else about the wind. Yeah, I know. Go ahead. Windbag? No, it's okay.
Jeff turned off his one fan.
Jeff,
There we
what's
go.
your story?
What's my story? I'm a conductor on Long Island Railroad. I have 3 very musical children, which is very rewarding. And I actually was in Willie and the Poor Boys with Tony, as he had mentioned before. And like when the original merge happened, I wasn't part of that. And a little bit later on, it looked like that opportunity had opened up, and I jumped on it. So it's been a pleasure. One of the things that we spoke about is just the quality of the people in the band. And I mean, we've all played with other people, and one of the things that always drove me crazy is somebody whose ego was too big for the room, and it's just not here. I mean, everybody is like I said, when we travel, everything else, it's just a lot of fun, yeah, it's just good quality people, and it's a lot of fun with the music. When Al had mentioned before about having to relearn these songs that we don't, you play in a cover band, you can kind of get about 80% of the song and you're good. Even the difference between when I was doing Willie and the Poor Boys and now doing the John Fogerty tribute, because he performs them differently, there are certain songs we key in on that we do the way he performs them now. So even just doing that, it was almost like starting over with, songs I've played for years. So it was fun. It really was. It was fun to learn it a different way. And then, as I'm ramping up and, we're all discovering these little pieces to make it fit together. I mean, it just, that's what makes it really good. And when that all lines up and we can put it out there, it's a pleasure.
Excellent. So how did you, well, you obviously you were in Willie and the Poor Boys, and you came about, so you weren't in the original merge. And I guess somebody dropped out, and then Jeff was able to step in at that point. So
Yes.
whenever you're bringing two organizations together, you kind of figure out who's going to fit and who's not. So that's always.
Yeah, there was never any issue of somebody fitting or not fitting. Everyone we had in the band was a fit. If someone decided to drop out of this, it was other issues, it was just personal issues, or this is very taxing. It's a very taxing hobby, unlike what we used to do in the past. I mean, it's every day there's something going on with the band, whether we're learning something or doing some admin stuff or whatever it is. So it's a whole different, it's a different arena, it's a different audience, and it's a different mindset. So we all have it. And again, we had with the expanded band and the people, we have a family of 9, 10, like 11, 12 people that we're just all family, present or not.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Darlene Fallis, is that who, one of your backup singers?
Darlene.
No, Dion Mills and Eleanor. Mills.
Darlene is
Okay, so Darlene
with Friends
Fallis, yeah,
Entertainment.
she posted it. She can't wait for the 25th, so she can watch you guys.
25th is going to be big.
Yeah, so that's going to be a lot of fun. So now this brings us to my friend Stu, who, talk about a gentleman and what a nice guy he is, and I can honestly say that because I know him. Stu, tell us about what you do in your real life. I can do your commercial for you, but I'm not gonna.
Okay. Well, first off, you're very kind to say those nice words about me.
You should have heard what he said yesterday.
Yeah, that's more like it probably, right? Well, I loved being in the band. I just want to say that right off the bat. In my everyday life, I'm a home improvement contractor, handyman contractor, more specifically. And that's what I do. And okay. And if you want to find more information about that, my website is Stu the Handyman, pretty easy to remember, stuthehandyman.com. And my phone number is 516-385-0925.
Do you have any specialties?
I do it all, but I mean, I kind of toned things down a bit over the years now. And I work with my brother quite a bit, my brother Eddie. And, sometimes we take on like, kitchens and baths and stuff like that. But for the most part, just, ordinary stuff, maybe finishing a
Basically,
basement.
if something's broken, he can fix it.
I can fix it.
Right.
Chances are I can fix it.
That's his tagline. I can.
That's
fix
my
it.
shtick.
That's it.
That's
Look,
your
Yeah.
stick. You're the only stick in the group, aren't you?
When I
I'm the only shtick in the.
when I first met Stu at the
Al, are
Net-
you a stick? You're not a stick.
I'm not a stick. I'm a stick.
No.
Stu's a handyman in music too. Just letting you know.
I think
Yeah.
me and Stu only know what stick means.
Well,
Oh, I gotta tell you, I gotta tell you a quick story, Norm. When I first met Stu and he found out I was working with you on the show,
Yeah.
he came over to give his condolences. And to me, he goes, "I know Norm." He goes, "He books our band."
Yeah, well,
And
that's
you know, I was
not
like,
often enough.
okay. So, you know, he did mention it. He did say he kind of liked you in a
Kind
weird
of.
way, but you
Yeah.
know,
You know
Yeah.
who he also knows? Chris Gannon.
yes,
do.
he knows Chris.
Yeah,
Yes, he
so
does.
Chris is a fine fella.
Yeah,
Isn't he? He's a real
Chris-
talented guy.
real
Chris
talent.
does all our my advertising, and I met him through
Yeah.
Darren. Darren introduced me to him,
Uh-huh.
and you know we have this network thing going on that
Mm.
is it's very, very positive.
Listen, do you know who else Stu knows? Stu knows Adam Schneider from Sip and Say. He's watching tonight.
Oh, nice.
So,
He's
big
gonna
shout
be
out
out
to
next month,
Adam.
right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Adam's always Alan Crystal's also watching, Norm.
Hey, by
So-
the way, if Alan's on, Alan, I've been trying to reach you, and you haven't returned the phone call. I
Don't
had
do
a
it,
deal-
Alan.
I had a
Oh.
deal for you, and you never called me back.
I got a deal. See, you know, the famous last words, right? I have a deal for you.
I had a deal. Past tense.
Whenever
Well,
I
the-
hear those words, I go, I gotta go right now. But
So, Mike Q, what do you got to say for yourself?
Mikey Q.
Hey guys,
Hey,
remember me?
Mike?
How are you?
Mike Quadrino on sax.
It's great to be here.
That's for a
Now, I
different
am.
show.
My story is I am what you would call the proverbial band whore. As a sax player, I play all around pretty much. But one of the prerequisites I have for joining a group of guys is they got to be a really decent group of guys. Just like everybody else in this band, I do it primarily for the enjoyment. The money is nice, but I do it because it's a great hobby and I enjoy it, and I got to enjoy it, and that means I got to enjoy the company. And these guys are really a really good group of guys, and I think that shows when we're on stage. We really have a good time, and because of that, we never get tired of it. I mean, Al talks about the drudgery of the business and everything else, but that never really seems to catch up with us because we enjoy it so much. We enjoy each other's company, and I think it shows when we play.
Do you want to give off your number if people want to get in touch with you?
Well, sure.
If they're lonely.
I
and
don't
they
know if I have
nothing
any
to
more
do.
time. I'm in like 5 bands right now, but who knows? Actually, these days, with everything, I had about 90 shows set up this year.
Mm.
And I think we're down to like almost single digits now with everything that's going on. But thank you, Norman, for the the live stream stuff, and guys like you trying to still keep us busy and making things happen. Really appreciate it. I actually had a show last night with another group. We actually did one of those drive-in gigs at Tobay Beach where we're playing to a sea of cars. And instead of clapping, they honk their horns. So whatever we got to do, right? Whatever we got to do to keep it going, that's what we do.
and
Now,
that's
let me address something which has become a little bit sensitive in our industry. I had when COVID hit, I wound up canceling 26 concerts.
Yeah.
That means 26 people didn't make any money at that particular. And we're just talking about me. We're not talking about anybody else. I haven't been able to redo those shows because there's no venues to go and do it. So it was about, thanks to Darlene, as a matter of fact, because she had been pushing me, we got to do this, we got to do that. And I didn't have the mindset to go and do it. And this is true story. I woke up one morning and I said, blanket, I'm going to do something. And we're going to try to hit the virtual thing. And I got into it late. I know that, but I got into it when you see what's going to happen and the quality of what's going to come. We have a proprietary system for our virtual. We're not using any main big time organizations to go and do our broadband. We had called one of the major ones. They wanted $24,000 from me to sign a 2-year contract. I've never done a virtual show in my life. And she wants me to commit to $24,000. And that's without any other expenses.
Wow.
So I think this is going to work if you are any sign that there's a response out there and people want to see quality music, and I mean really quality music, there's going to be many more shows. There's going to be many more shows, but I want to know your mindset. What is your, Darren and I are going to do a show. We're waiting for someone that was in the hospital to get out. And we're going to do a sort of like a COVID psychological show, because we all been depressed by doing this one way or the other. You know, like Anthony, you said you're in the house and you're not, you know, it's tough. It doesn't matter whether you got money, you don't got money, whatever it may be. Your mindset is like shot. It's crazy. You know, how do you guys feel?
It's much more psychologically draining than physically draining. There's no question.
Yeah.
You know, I went back to my practice June 1. I was out since the middle of March. We were getting conflicting reports from New York State Department of Health, American Dental Association, New York State Dental Association, the governor's office, as to when we could even go back. So it was, you know, it was day to day, and it was mind bending. It really was.
How did you cope? What did you do?
I worked around the house, caught up on a lot of projects around the house that were needing to be done. My backyard was mid-July ready by mid-March.
You should have called Stu. He would have helped you with some of them.
Serious.
Stu was in construction. He's considered essential.
Yeah.
He was
Exactly.
working.
To some people, for me,
Yeah.
I can't bang a nail into the wall. So he's very essential for someone like me.
Let me ask you guys a question about the band.
You know, George, have
Right.
you been working during this?
Let me ask you a question.
I do church on Sundays through like a teleconference. I play in a Black Baptist church, and we've been doing it, you know, a service from someone's house. So we socially distance, but I mean, it's like a family, and that's about it. You know, I mean, I do about 300 gigs a year, and I haven't done a gig since mid-March. Well, the gig we did Sunday was the first gig I did.
Are you this is going to sound silly. Are you kind of like happy you had this rest period? Or would you prefer to obviously been working continuously?
Well, financially, not at all, because I've
Right.
been dipping into the savings to pay bills. You know, but I mean, it's weird, you know, having weekends off, because I haven't had a weekend off since I don't know, 15 years. So it's been it lets me ride my bike more often. So
No,
I can,
I
you know,
get it.
that's my vacation. I get on my bike and I go someplace.
And that makes you feel good that
That
you're out there with the,
absolutely, that
Right.
always makes me feel good.
Sure.
Al, what about you? Have you been sort of busy? No busy?
No, as long as schools aren't in, I am not working. So
No little leagues, no schools, no
no,
soccer
I mean,
clubs.
get-togethers is what I do, and that's not happening. And hopefully it happens in the fall. I don't know. I'm probably not expecting that, but maybe in the winter I can get back to normal. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But the opportunity did look. I got to catch up on a lot of band stuff. So I've been doing a lot of stuff with that, you know.
Have you
and,
been rehearsing? Have all you been getting together, or because of COVID, you've kind of like stayed away?
Yeah, we've been rehearsing. You know, because we do have these streams coming up, and we have new material we need to work on, and yada yada. As a matter of fact, if you haven't got a chance, if anybody's out there and you didn't see the thank you video that we did early on in April to our healthcare workers, as long as I can see the light, definitely check that out on our Facebook page.
Let me ask you guys, do you guys have a favorite song you guys like to play?
You know, my favorite's Up Around the Bend.
Up Around the Bend.
Yep.
Is that pretty much the band's favorite, or
Not necessarily. We can go around and see, but that's always been
That's Anthony's favorite. Yeah.
what about you, Stu?
I like a lot of them. I like Fortunate Son. I love
Yeah,
Fortunate Son.
Fortunate Son's monster.
And I like Center Field a lot.
What about you, George?
I like Lodi.
Lodi. So you got a good mix here, Jeff. How about
Mike,
you?
what's your call?
I'm Proud Mary all the way.
Mm.
That song is amazing. especially the way that Fogerty does it more recently. I mean, and Proud Mary was the first Creedence tune I knew as Creedence when I was younger. So
That's
I
funny.
mean, Fortunate Son's amazing too. I mean, that's what I like. We usually do those, together side by side. So that having that part of the show is great. I love it.
You know,
Jeff's having
because of-
fun. Jeff's having fun learning all the live versions of
Yeah.
of all this stuff, and it's really exciting. And I feel his energy. It's great.
How about you,
Because of
Mike?
BMI, because of BMI and ASCAP, I have to turn in a song list from the band on what it is that you're going to sing. So the last time we performed, it was 32 songs. There's no way you're getting into doing 32 songs on the 25th. So almost every song that CCR has had has been a hit. Now,
I know.
what
That's
are
the
you gonna-
amazing thing. That's the amazing thing about this band is that you don't realize if you're not a Fogerty fan, you're not a CCR fan. If you come to one of the shows, it's amazing that everyone that comes to a show knows every song. Virtually,
that's-
just
that's the-
like
that's the-
every song.
That's the most frequent comment
Yeah.
we get after a show is, I didn't realize how many songs Creedence and John Fogerty had that people that I knew. People are coming expecting to hear and expecting to only know Who'll Stop the Rain and Have You Ever Seen the Rain and Fortunate Son and Proud Mary. And
Right.
they wind up knowing probably like 75-80% of the set. And
Right.
we, as a tribute band, because as a tribute band, you're playing to more hardcore fans a lot of times. So so we do delve into some of the deeper tracks, some of the songs that you won't hear on an A side of an album or a single, or you won't hear Fogerty perform live these days. So we do delve into the deeper stuff, but primarily the core of our set, people know the music, and it's good, it's fun, it's upbeat, it's sing-along kind of music, it's happy music, and that's what we need today. Is
It's
happy.
nostalgia. It's
Yeah.
nostalgia, and that's what it is, because it brings us all back. And I pick my groups, I pick my people as if I'm one of the people in the audience that I'm buying a ticket. I want to hear what I want to hear, what I like, because I figure that if I like it, other people are going to like it too. Hearing esoteric songs that Fogerty. I'll give you an example. Doing our research in the SEO world, in order to drive tickets as best we could, we called one organization and they gave us a breakdown that what they call trackers. The trackers to Fogerty were 67,000 trackers. I'm sure it's much more than that. But off the cuff, when I asked about Creedence, 550,000 trackers. Now, Fogerty is a major part of Creedence, I guess, right? Look at the disparity between the amounts of people that go to CCR and go to John Fogerty. Now, Fogerty's great. And I was always wondering, Anthony, why you went versus keeping something that more about the Creedence Clearwater name and highlighting that versus them making. So many people have also said to me, idiots, who's John Fogerty? I said, then you don't want to come to this thing at all anyway. So,
Yeah.
But was there a reason why you did that?
Well, the name wasn't my choosing. Actually, the name kind of came with the project. Al had the name chosen already because he wanted to make the band more identifiable with John Fogerty, not only as the primary writer, songwriter, and performer with Creedence Clearwater Revival, but also what came after Creedence. Because if you know the Creedence story, you know they were only around for 4 years. I mean, here's a band that started in 68 and finished up pretty much in 72 when they were gone. And in those 4 years, the amount of music they produced was incredible. And then from 72 until 1985, really, John Fogerty kind of fell off the map. I mean, he really didn't have a major solo album release until 1985. And that began his resurgence, and along the way, he lost the rights to his music, and there were lawsuits going back and forth between the record company and John Fogerty and some of the other members of Creedence. And it's one of those real breakup rock and roll sagas.
Yeah,
and
it's historic. And also on that point is like, in 1985, I was discovering music. So Fogerty was, a big influence back then. So that's what I related to. I didn't relate to CCR. I was born in 68. So 85, when I heard Centerfield and then Blue Moon Swamp and Premonition came around and like that was so in your face rock and roll. And if you notice, when Fogerty came back to light at around that time, he turned all those CCR tunes into Fogerty tunes. They all sounded like they were all that high velocity and high energy music that necessarily weren't back in the 60s. But now it's in your face. It knocks you down at a concert. And that's what I love to tribute. And if you see the band, our band today, we try to model ourselves off a Fogerty live concert, which again, it's in your face music and it's interactive music, and you sing along at every songs. And sometimes the audience is singing them by themselves, and we're the backing tracks. And the communication within the theater or concert hall or whatever venue it is amazing. Not only between the audience and the band, but the members. Each one of our band members, as I'm playing, I can feel the energy in there, emanating, and we have all this communication going on between the audience and us and the band members and everybody. It's just one big
Have you,
Fogerty soup.
so Al, you or Tony, you were saying before, right? You get real diehard fans who come to your concerts and you're playing to them. And Al, you said in the very beginning that when you do a tribute band, you really have to be right on with the music, more so than just being
You do.
So have you ever gotten somebody come up to you after a show and say, you know what, you missed on this song or you missed on that song?
There are those idiots. There are those idiots.
I'm serious. And if that happened, did you get some good criticism that actually helped you get better?
Tony, what do you think?
Well,
Anybody experience that?
Generally, people are nice enough where you don't get a lot of negative stuff. I had a drummer come up to me, and he was a big Creedence fan after a show and said, "You were right on the dial. You were right in between Doug Clifford and Kenny Aronoff." Now, Doug Clifford was the original drummer for Creedence, and basically just a backbeat, very simple drumming. And Kenny Aronoff, if you know the way he plays, off the chart. I mean, it's a sound that only Kenny gets. And this drummer said, "You were right in the dial between Doug Clifford and Kenny Aronoff," and that was the perfect compliment he could pay to me, because that's exactly where I try to be.
That's perfect.
I
And
don't
Darren,
know if
to that respect, in the beginning, we had some constructive criticism from maybe promoters or venue owners and stuff like that, as you know, Tony. But I think all of that is really like behind us now. I'm like, to be honest, I'm not like bragging or anything, but like we've had so many instances where people will tell us a concert that they've seen Fogerty and that they enjoyed our concert so much better. Well, I mean, Fogerty is it's just, he's a seasoned musician. He's getting older now, so things aren't the same as they were in the 90s or whatever, or what people remember the concerts being, especially vocal wise and stuff. But so that really helps us out a lot. That
so you've gotten better and you feel better about the band, and you have gotten some constructive criticism that actually helped you become the band.
And a big point is when I first thought about this and the band, I even told like Tony, one thing I really didn't want to do is to become a tribute act where it's a impersonation. Never ever did I feel that was my thing or that's what I wanted to do. Never wanted to impersonate or be like Fogerty or even the band. I wanted to get the feel, the energy, and bring that out to the crowd. But very important is everyone in the band, including myself, never wanted to lose my self-identity as a musician. So if I, maybe I could feel it this way other than what Fogerty did or whatever, or the sax. Give you a point that when we had the 9-piece lineup, we had the sax player, we had the 2 girl singers, and I'm not saying anything, but right after that, Fogerty went on tour, and guess what? He got a sax player and 2 background singers. Just saying.
By the way, Al, let me ask you a question. I don't know if you told the rest of the band yet, but about 2 months ago, you asked me a question. You said that you found a clip of somebody playing the tambourine.
Yes, I did. A very pro tambourine player, from what I've
And
seen.
did you tell everybody that this is a half-assed musician that will be joining you for a song if he doesn't get thrown off the stage?
Yeah, I can tell you stories, but this is only an hour show. But anyway,
We got 7 minutes.
so with the 25th, so we're doing a virtual concert. Be sure to tune in the 25th. It's going to be streamed from Blockhead Studios, beautiful recording studio,
In Deer
32
Park.
track mix going to your TV, multi-camera shoot, beautiful quality. We're going to have a Q&A. We're going to have free giveaways during the show. We're going to have requests. All of this stuff is going to happen. And plus we're going to announce a lot of new things that's going to be coming up with the band that a lot of even the band don't even know.
Did you tell the producer that we were doing all these things?
I did. I told the
okay.
producer. That would be the guy in Blockhead, right?
The guy, no.
Okay. But most importantly, we're going to have we're going to do a 8-piece band that night. We're going to have the special tambourine player come up, and he's going to play tambourine to traveling band.
He called me and told me that he took them out of the dust, out of the garage, and
Yeah.
was polishing the cymbals, polishing them all up.
Let me tell you something.
Individually.
After I'm going to guarantee after this concert with the tambourine, this guy crazy on traveling band, I am guaranteeing you the next real Fogerty concert, he's going to have a tambourine player.
Got to keep that in mind. He comes cheap. I know the guy. He comes very cheap.
You know, I'm just saying.
That's it. Listen, we want to thank you so much. Believe it or not, the hour is gone already. So we want to thank you so much for being on here and telling everybody all about you and what you guys are really all about and what your real life is and what I'm calling it a fantasy life, because it's a fantasy. You're privileged to be talented enough to do the things that you do. And that's great. That's a wonderful task.
Yeah,
we're privileged to play this music. Thank you, John Fegerty.
Absolutely,
Amen.
100%.
All right,
Any
guys.
last words from anybody? No, do you have anything coming up afterwards that you down the road, 6 months, 5 months, or anything like that?
Everything is kind of up in the air, and it's month to month. I mean, we have a couple of beach hut gigs in Cedar Beach, in Mount Sinai. That's in August. I don't know if that's going to come off. I really don't know. Looking down the road, go to the website www.theccrtribute.com. And our full schedule is there. It's always updated. We've got a lot of out-of-state and upstate New York stuff coming up in the fall. Hopefully, if things loosen up and we kick this virus, those are all going to come off. That's all the way from Pennsylvania to upstate New York and beyond. So hopefully, a couple of dates in the fall and the winter in Florida again. We did Florida this past spring, and hopefully some more dates down south. Yeah.
Well, I know that Friend Entertainment is going to plan on doing another March or April kind of gig with you guys if you are available. Hopefully, I hope you're not available because I want you to be working. But the odds are that we'll find a date somewhere along the way and get you back on board again.
Don't worry about it. Friends Entertainment's got plenty more where that came from.
There you go.
I'll make sure to tell the guy.
You know what I mean? But before anything, I just want to take the opportunity to just tell all band members that I so appreciate being part of this band. They're great musicians. They're great people, past and present. Unbelievable. I love these guys. Shout out to all the wives for sure. This would never happen if we didn't have their support and approval for sure. There's so many horror stories that could be had with that, but
Do the
God bless
girlfriends
them.
ever show up the same time as the wives?
all the time. They're the biggest fans, and forget it. That's it. And that's,
Don't
as long
laugh.
as we have that, that's great.
When I was in the doo-wop world, that stuff happened. more times than I want to say happened the nights of the show. One idiot doesn't tell the other idiot what's going on, and boom.
You should have a
And
show
it-
on that, just that, Norm.
Oh my God. It's in the works.
We don't. We
Thank
don't
you,
do-
Darren. Thank
Should be
you,
a
Norm.
quick hour.
Yeah, we don't do Jerry Springer. We want to thank you guys. If you guys just want to hang out, I'll shut off your mics and your
Just
cameras.
hang out for a few minutes.
Hang out
Okay.
for a few minutes.
Thank
Norm
you.
and I are going to
Thank you,
wrap it up.
Darren and Norm.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Like Quadrino on sex.
What did he say?
I have no idea what he said.
All right.
This takes longer than you think to shut everybody off. Too many guys. See you, Stu. All right, so it's
Bye,
just
Mike.
stop Mike's video. There you go. All right, my friend. So it was a blast.
Yeah, it
Great
was
bunch of
really
guys.
Different.
Great bunch of guys. Look, it's a week from Saturday, right? The 25th.
Yeah, week from Saturday. Yeah.
We need you to, what's the website they got to go to get tickets?
Oh, they can just come online.
Where's your-
FriendENTUSA.com. Go to my Facebook page. It's all over the place out here. So there's no way that you can't find it. But
Well,
or if you got to
Chris
call
has
me,
that covered, right? Chris has that covered for you.
he's got it covered. Yeah, we put out
All right,
all
We
kinds
don't
of
have to
stuff.
go crazy on that.
So
All right, my friend. Well, you have a good week.
you too. If you want to view, you let me know so I can send you the code.
Oh, yeah.
You can't get on unless you get a code.
Oh, really? So I'll be
And then-
locked.
You will be locked
be
out
locked.
unintentionally, but you
Do I
will
get-
be locked out.
Do I get backstage passes?
Yeah, to your backyard. With the horses on. Do you have a stage back there too?
I can put a stage. I got plenty of room. I got plenty of
Yeah,
room. Put a stage
That's
up.
all, that works.
All right. All right, my friend. Well, you have a great week.
You too.
And I
All right.
will, and I will talk to you soon.
All right, let's, wait a second, before you
What?
go. Let's look next week for a second. Let's see what's going on. Next
What's
week
on?
is, okay, this, next,
Next
Uh,
week we have
Jennifer Tucker, who is jerking me around. And, I'm gonna give her, are we on live?
we're still live, my
Oh,
friend.
I got to hear from her because she keeps telling me she's sending in the profile and I don't get it and shows next week.
Norm, we would love to have you on the show next week and we'll have a great time. So good night, everybody. Have a safe week. Everybody stay safe. Hey, listen, just to let you know, this COVID thing, it's not going away yet. I had one of my
No,
clients.
not anytime soon.
I did a tax return for somebody, was going to file it today for them and found out they're inflicted with COVID. So, we've been doing everything virtually. It happens. It's still happening
It's
out
going to be
there.
worse because it's flu season also. Flu season's coming in September.
Yep.
September up, it's a
So,
combination.
All
But we
right.
want everybody to stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you all next week. Thank
We'll
you.
see you next week. Good night, everybody.